Welcome to New Realities. My name is Alan Steinfeld. On this program, I interview people who are really at the cutting edge of a spiritual technology, people that are adding to the value of who we are as higher evolving beings. And tonight's guest is someone who's really devoted her life to that. She's a self-help therapist. She's the author of many books. She's a life coach, and she's someone who's able to help put people's lives in perspective. Maybe she'll do that for me today. But we're going to talk to her. Her name's Anna Weber. Anna, thank you.
So nice to meet you.
It's nice to be in California, actually.
Absolutely. You couldn't pick a better day.
I
It's
know.
Good Friday.
I usually do my interviews in New York in the studio, and this is just nice to be outside and to be more in touch with nature. So your life has been about helping people and coaching them, and
Yes.
because you have you have a sort of a happiness about you. What is it that you have that you feel you can give to other people?
Good question. I call it I was born with the happy seed. It's a gift that was transferred to me from my grandmother actually to my mom, and from my mom to me.
But what does that mean?
What
Happy
does it mean?
seed.
What does that mean is being enthused about life at all times, regardless of the challenges that are coming your way. I'm always enthused in a genuine and not only a genuine way, but in a real, true way, and in a realistic way.
So nothing gets you down?
No, nothing gets me down.
Nothing?
Nothing.
And you were born with this, though.
I was born with it, yes.
So it's not a genetic thing, is it?
Well, perhaps it is. I believe that all people are born with the happy seed. Go look back at children. They're always happy. They play with a ball. They play with Lego. They play with a certain toy or puzzle. They're happy.
So where does it start to get messed up for us?
Well, we start depleting our happy seed. It's just like withdrawing from a bank account.
You start depleting it.
Depleting it as we grow older. You're not going to see too many happy people at the age of 70 or when you go to a convalescence center.
Why? What happens?
What happens? Their happy seed got depleted.
But how?
With life.
How?
With life.
Like what sort of situations deplete our happy? I mean,
Well,
worry and stress and
Basically, reality. It's disappointments. It's letdowns. Disenchantment with love, with children, with finances.
But you've had
with
those,
work.
right?
Absolutely, all of the above.
So it hasn't gotten you down, though.
No,
right?
it hasn't. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, I proact instead of react.
Wait. So what did you do differently than all the other people who depleted their happy seed?
Basically, what I do is that I stop in the moment. The trick is actually living in the moment, and basically applying priority. Okay, passion is actually number one. Priority, and also portion. Everything in life, just like diets, they come within portions. What happens when somebody wants to go on a diet and lose weight? They tell them cut back on your portions. Same thing with life.
Right. So let's take it practically. You're disappointed in love, let's say, right?
Let me tell you, my husband just walked out on me 2 years ago. This is a new recent story.
But other people would have been depressed.
Other people would have been depressed. Yes, losing their homes. He gambled it away.
And so what did you do differently because you weren't depressed?
I sat down. First of all, I wrote the book Dumped, The Ultimate Guide Starting Over.
Dumped, the ultimate guy. I guess you had to have the experience in order to write the book.
Exactly. I was dumped.
Okay, you were dumped.
Yes. And I sat down and I realized that what do I have instead of everything that happened in the past? I have my freedom. Now, what do I do with that tool? Anything I want to, anything I choose to.
Wait, but were you upset a little bit about your husband leaving you? I mean, how do you deal with that pain?
To tell you something, I was disappointed. I was disenchanted. But the freedom and the sense of actually dissolution while you're getting through the divorce and through getting the separation was pretty dramatic. And all the changes that occur to you while the separation is pretty heavy. It weighs on you like a ton. So all of a sudden you're free, whether you have to move to a small condo from a gorgeous home in Corona del Mar, it's regardless. Your sense is a sense of freedom.
What I get about you is that you are looking to the future as opposed to the past in whatever situation. And you're in the present, but you're not stuck in the past.
I am definitely releasing the past. I'm detaching myself. That's one of the keys of the happy seed. That's what the book is called. Life a la carte, feed your happy seed. What does that mean? You focus, you're centered in the moment. And as you're attaching yourself to the moment, slowly you're detaching yourself from the past,
Mm-hmm.
and you plan short-term goals. You basically plan on happy things. You start basically feeding that happy seed towards some dreams and some goals that you set up for yourself for the future.
But give me an example. Give me a concrete example about feeding that seed.
Okay. It's basically number one is proacting. Like I said, portions, passion.
Well, give me a specific though. So what do you do?
What did I do? I started writing the book Dumped because I realized by not centering myself, just not thinking only of myself, but thinking of thousands of women who are in my place, over 50, getting dumped by a husband who's going through midlife crisis, who actually dumped you for your best girlfriend. And basically what I did, I started writing down the steps and the tools, what helped me to just kind of detach myself from the past and feel great. And it started basically cultivating and again nourishing, just like you give a plant nourishment, nourishing more of my happy seed, my freedom.
So what was it that you started? What are those tools? Just lay them out for me.
Basically the tools of releasing yesterday.
Which is, how do you do that?
Well, I did a physical thing. I took one item that reminded me of him and I literally took a trash can. I put in the trash can, closed the lid. This was meant to me yesterday, and everything that was affiliated with him. And I wasn't angry at all.
The object symbolized the relationship and the husband.
Exactly.
You took that, you threw it out.
Exactly. And not taking it as a rejection, not that he left me, that now I feel inadequate. It was more about him. It wasn't about me. I got freedom. I got a whole brand new life. I got to start all over again.
So you chose the way you wanted to look at the situation. Instead of
It's an
being
attitude.
a victim,
Exactly.
you said, I'm going to use this situation to benefit myself, whatever the situation is.
And not just myself, but helping others in the process. And my attitude was so uplifted that people actually started to get really drawn to me and saying, what are you doing? What's going on with you? What is all this happiness all about? I said, guess what, guys? I'm free. I'm basically a free person. So I started again, like I said, my new life.
And then you started to get into this whole career of writing books? Or?
I started actually writing books prior to our divorce, but one thing led to another, and people asked me, how do you manage your time? Because in the meantime, I was keeping my bread and butter job as a CFO for a company, a manufacturing company, and I was basically realizing that I'm managing my time in such a great fashion that I really have to write a book about time management and how to shift hats and how to know prioritizing your life, your daily
Which
routine.
book is about time management?
That is Lemons into Lemonade without the sugar.
Lemons into Lemonade without the sugar. So what do you mean by time management?
What I mean time management, that actually something that people study at school in the universities, how to manage your time, how to utilize your time to its best fruition, how to come up with the best.
Give me an example.
Okay, great. Basically, somebody like myself, getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
You don't do that, do you?
Yes, I do that every morning.
I'm not going to manage my time that
I'm
way.
at 6:30 already at my desk, sitting
You
in Los
are?
Angeles, an hour and plus commute each, direction.
Wow.
That's a true story.
Okay, so what did that prove
So-
about managing your time?
So what does it mean managing my time? I'm passionate about time. I love time. I utilize time. I'm disciplined with time, and yet I'm not angry about or feeling overwhelmed with tasks.
So you don't get distracted?
No.
How
No.
do you stop being distracted?
That's not something I perfected. It took me 8 years.
Tell me, because I want to know that one.
Okay.
Because I am so distracted. I mean, even now I'm distracted.
When you're in the moment,
Yeah.
when you're in the moment and you somewhat basically centering yourself to the moment, in the moment, and you love what you do, you're passionate, and your tools whatever you're doing, task you're doing, whether it's fun or some type of work, the feedback, the results are so phenomenal.
Yeah, but still, how do you not get distracted?
It's because I am centering myself completely.
Okay,
in the
then let's
moment.
start there. How do you do that? How do you center yourself completely?
It's
in the moment?
training, it's practice that makes
Well,
perfect.
tell me
Okay.
a way of doing it so people watching can
Okay.
learn from you.
I'll give you a very good example.
Yes.
Let's say I'm a 6:45 at my desk.
You're
and
what?
6:45.
A 6:45,
I'm
okay.
at my desk.
Okay.
First, I'm actually, I believe in breakfast is the best and the most essential meal of the day. I get something to eat,
Okay.
and I have a great cup of red rooibos tea, African red tea,
Okay.
sometimes with honey, sometimes without, and I'm just kind of staying just in the moment. I'm getting ready for my day.
You're just at your desk, eating your breakfast. You're not thinking about anything else.
Nothing else.
Okay.
When I closed the door to my house and I got into my car, I literally closed the door to my house.
So you don't think about the house.
No.
So this
I
is
don't
where the
think of-
discipline comes in.
This is where the discipline
When you're
comes in.
close the door to your house, you close. That's so
I
good.
close the
That's
door
a good
to
tip.
whatever, because again, I'm in the now, I'm in the moment. That was 2 hours ago. Now I'm right here.
So you don't think about anything that's going on at
No,
home.
I do not.
That's great. So you get in your car, you think about your car and where you're going. You get to work, you sit down, have your breakfast.
I'm starting my day in a calm fashion,
Okay.
and I turn on my computer.
Yes.
And my number one task that I do, I check on all the incoming emails,
Yes.
and I prioritize them by the sense of urgency.
Okay.
Now, the ones that I get back to them because they're very urgent, those are very important. I basically feed them throughout the day.
Okay. Okay.
If I don't know the response to some type of a request, guess what I do? I buy time. I still get back to the people and I say, I will get back to you when I have the information for you.
Okay.
But I don't sweep anything under the rug. Therefore, I'm not stressed. I deal with the situation right there.
Uh-huh.
That is what I say, basically prioritizing your day. I focus on the emails. Once I'm done with that, I am basically checking, because I'm in charge of finances, I'm checking bank balances, I'm checking the latest transactions. I'm doing a walk through my personnel. I've got people reporting to me. I greet everyone with a smile.
Right.
Have a happy day. I don't control, I don't police my employees. However, I am hands-on, I communicate with them, and they always know my door is open for questions. That is one of the most important things when you build relationships at work.
And the thing about time, though, also
Is very important. I don't only allot myself time, I give other people the time to finish their tasks. And I assign a time frame, basically a certain deadline, even though that is not casted in gold, when I expect a certain project to be completed. There is always a date and time factor.
And if people don't finish the thing on time, what do you do?
Then I see if they seek help, or because there's one thing that we always do: people procrastinate.
That's a good one. I
By
know that one.
procrastination, it doesn't go away.
So how do you? That's one I really need help with.
Most people.
So
do.
how do I not procrastinate? Because there's so much I want to do, and I just keep not doing it.
Is basically you prepare your action list for the day.
Prepare my action list that's the first thing I do. Prepare my action list.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And again, it's a short-term goal, and you're trying to be as realistic as possible, and you just don't try to micromanage everything. You ask from people, maybe I can get help from someone about this particular project, or maybe I can call someone for this particular project.
Okay, so prioritize my action list. I'm doing this, and this.
Exactly.
In the amount of time I put from 12 to 1.
Yeah,
1 to 2.
let's say you assign a certain time frame, but again, you don't overwhelm yourself. And you also have a sense of urgency, because how does this list affect other people? Like, for example, with me, when vendors call me or customers call me, I'm always there for them. Because I know they need feedback. That's one of the most important things, to give people feedback. I'm never stressed at work. Whether it's a $100,000 check or a $500 check, I tell them the truth. The check is in the mail, or the check was never cut. But when the check is in the mail, it is in the mail.
Right. You're honest.
I am very straightforward.
You never need to lie or do anything like that.
No.
So what's this Lemons into Lemonade about?
That's a very cool book. Lemons into Lemonade, it's made out of 2 sections. The first section is talking about my little life as a little girl in Romania. And I was actually an introvert for many years. I was shy, isolated, and extremely much lacking confidence, believe it or not. I needed to introduce this to people to understand that this extrovert person actually came from an introvert person.
Yes.
I was very studious and I was excellent at school. Now, the second part of the book is basically the time management, that's explaining people how it's a bit of quantum physics, but it's introducing it in a very lovely fashion. It has the secret code, how to actually introduce people basically a better way of fashion as far as managing their time, and how to really set goals, and to understand that we do have a purpose and a goal.
There's a great thing here under this section, secret code.
The secret code.
Number 1. I love this number 1. Tell them what it is.
Start with 10 minutes a day. There are 1,440 minutes in the day. At the same time every day for 30 days. and do absolutely nothing.
Do absolutely nothing.
That's
That's
actually
for 10 minutes. Do
yes,
absolutely
yes.
nothing.
It's a decluttering, because like you said, Alan, you're overwhelmed. This
Right.
is a sense of decluttering. When you do that, people tell me, engineers, doctors, lawyers, hairdressers, you name them, they say, you know what, I feel like things flushing out of my mind. I feel like I'm releasing this. It's like things flowing like water. It's extremely important.
So you write into your action list, number 1, do nothing.
Exactly.
What
Do
if that-
absolutely nothing.
What if that was the whole action list? No.
That is a great action list sometimes, because sometimes we need to give space.
Okay, so this is the secret. So doing nothing unclouds the mind and prepares us for the rest of the day.
Exactly. So
Okay.
then you continue with 10 minutes daily the next 30 days, and you write down 3 most important things in your life: ideas, passion, purpose, goals, because we cannot just be kind of floating. There is some substance to our lives, there's some purpose.
Right.
Think about these and feel them. Not just think about them and feel them, but play with them, and you can actually erase and replace some of them, whether you feel on some ideas more passionate about. And then you get into the real thing, because you know how what Socrates says, the action is, the idea is one thing and the action is another.
Right.
Then you start basically opening up, and you start doing for 10 minutes a day. You're not overwhelming. You're acting on your feelings, on your goals, on your passions, on your ideas.
Only for 10 minutes?
Because you start with small increments.
Oh, and then you increase it every day by 10
And
minutes?
you're going to realize that later on it's going to be increased automatically. Because your human nature is actually making you do so.
Wait, say that again, because I think that's a real important spiritual
It's
point.
very important.
So say that.
After you have spent 10 minutes a day for 60 days, remember, always at the same time, because there's certain discipline connected with that. Begin to act on the feelings, idea, and goals you have written down. These baby steps will become a way of life. You will be surprised at how each 10-minute session expands. Soon there will be time for it. Because see, Alan, we say we don't have enough time.
Exactly.
This creates that you actually
How does that
spend-
work? How does that actually work?
It's actually you realizing that you are not wasting time. You are passionate about time. You're utilizing time. This is the key to time management.
By-
This is the Bible to time management.
The
secret code that
secret code.
Yes,
But, now,
yes.
Let's just review it, because I really want to get it, because I really need
I
to
think this
manage-
is phenomenal. Yes.
So what? So 10 minutes, do nothing.
Yes.
10 minutes, write down your thoughts for the most important thing, right?
Yes. Your goals, your purpose.
Right.
Something that you are actually have feelings towards, and ideas and mind connection as
Okay,
well.
and then another 10 minutes, you write what? Your feelings?
No,
Oh, that's the same thing.
And then you start acting on them.
And then for 10 minutes, you take small steps to
Exactly.
do. And then you do this every single day.
Every single day for 30 days, because what it really happens, let's look back again. We go a little bit backwards.
Yeah.
The first one is decluttering, giving you a little bit of cleansing of your mind. We're so
Decluttering.
overwhelmed.
Okay.
The second one is some people live without any purpose, any ideas, any spirituality.
Define your purpose.
Define something.
Okay.
That's individual, that's
Right.
very original.
Okay.
It's very important, because you're all of a sudden cultivating by this actually, you're feeding a bit your happy seed.
You're actually watering your happy seed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, we always, as human beings, we like to get feedback. We like to see results. Only by taking action.
Do we see the results?
Nothing stops us. Then we take the action towards those dreams. And therefore, we have less of the doubts, of the fears, or inhibitions. And as we move forward, they become more realistic.
So
they become a way of life.
Even the little baby steps, you start to move and progress. Even-
Exactly.
So this is one aspect of your work, the time management
Exactly.
stuff. The other part is planting the happy seed, maintaining an uplifting enthusiasm, no matter what happens to you.
No matter what happens, because if you let that go, there's a German saying, you let your attitude go, you let your enthusiasm go, you let everything go. And enthusiasm is actually, like the Greeks said, it's God within you. We're all created in that image.
Right.
The minute we let it go, we lose that. And yes, it happens that we have to catch it sometimes. Even I let it go sometimes for a few minutes, and then I catch myself.
But What's another aspect of your work? Because you work with teenagers
Yes.
and people on all levels.
Yes,
So
I was a troubled teenager, believe it or not.
you were, even
I
with
know.
a happy seed like you?
It's hard to believe it, but remember, I was an introvert.
You were an
So
introvert.
I was introvert as a teenager.
But you still had the happy seed.
But I had the happy seed, but I didn't know it until later in my life.
Okay.
I was not.
You
very,
do actually seem happy.
I am very happy.
Okay.
So I'm content. And
right.
as a passionate person helping teenagers, because I was a bit, into the
This is
love
your
and the
cheat.
open relationships and anything that I was ahead of my time.
Right.
I realized later on in my life that teenagers are actually our future, the youth, the models of this world.
That's this book, right? The 11-step formula to bridge the gap.
To bridge the gap between parents and teenagers.
So what is that? What is that?
Basically, it's a very simple book. It's giving us the guidelines, 11-step formulas and steps, how to connect, how to move a little bit closer the bridge between the parents and the teenagers.
So how?
How? By taking steps, by telling
What?
them I love you, by not judging and lecturing, by giving feedback,
Uh-huh.
by validating a teenager's feelings or how they dress up when they wear those baggy pants, by sensing their emotional state of mind, by watching and again, spending more time with them. Time is the key. Time and timing is the key to life.
To your, especially relationships with your children.
Absolutely.
What if, like in a lot of cases, parents feel their time is more valuable than spend? They have businesses, they have things. I mean,
well, guess what? If you're managing your time better,
managing your time,
you will have more time for your teenagers. Because Alan, what's really happening?
Yes.
If we don't find the time in the now, guess what's going to be later on?
What?
They don't want to go to school. They don't want to work. What's a parent's life? They want to be proud of their children. They want to feel they contributed. They did something good. Not necessarily everybody goes and gets a PhD. I told my son, I said, even if you pump gas at the gas station, I will love you just the same. You're my pride and joy.
So it doesn't matter what they do. Like you said about being happy, it doesn't matter what happens out there. It's how you're feeling in
how
here.
you feel inside, how centered you are, how you follow your own passion, how much of an original you are.
Well, that gets us to this book, Diet for Change.
That's a good one, yes.
It really is good. Let's talk about this, because I think this is something, Diet for Change, that everybody could benefit from.
Yes, people talk about diets, losing weight, gaining weight, being more fit, everything else that's connected with diet. I believe that the most important diet is basically how we're mastering our changes in our lives.
Well, tell me how.
How? That's a very good question.
Tell me how.
Well,
because no one really likes. change. It can be exciting, but it also can be stressful and like.
Yeah, but change is constant, Alan. It's unavoidable. If you're not gonna grow, you're not gonna change. You're not gonna grow.
I know. Change is a constant. Even Einstein said that.
Exactly.
So tell me then, how do you manage change?
Well, this is basically a product that it took me after the divorce, after the major changes in my life and other people's lives around me.
Yes.
I realized that regardless to what, change is there. So what are we going to do about it? And how am I going to apply these formulas in a very easy fashion that everybody understands it, whether you're a waitress or you're somebody with a master's degree or somebody who's a teacher. So what I did here is metaphorically, actually, I am using the apple, the egg, and the onion to stand for the changes that we need to make in order to live again a happier life and master changes in our lives.
So the apple stands for health, the egg stands for relationships, and the onion stands for money.
Not exactly.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the apple of my life, the apple, the beautiful, colorful apple, actually stands for relationships.
Ah, okay.
Because we found out that apples are the number one, fruit as a mood lifter.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Oh.
1 apple a day, keeps the doctor away. 2 apples a day will lift your mood. Will chase the blues away.
So anyway, you're just using this as symbols for change. But
exactly.
Tell me about the change itself, because I think that.
Well, as far as what is happening here? Change. We need to change, but the concept that we all have is that we try to change everybody else, but not ourselves.
Right.
So what's really happening in this book is giving you, first of all, a tool. And I believe that this tool is one of the most important tools. Okay. It gives you a kind of a notebook, how to record per month let's say now we are in the month of March.
Right.
Beautiful blossoming. Easter is coming, all the wonderful holidays, Passover.
Right.
And today is a Good Friday. So what does that mean? This is my apples, March. I will write down all the changes I'm going through with my relationships. And
so you actually track your changes.
Exactly.
So this is what you're wanting people to do is track.
Exactly. And then I have the key formulas here, the 3F formula words, which is freedom, feelings, and feedback. I am then later on analyzing, is this relationship consists of freedom, feelings, and feedback, or it's not.
That's what makes a healthy relationship.
Exactly.
But you only found that out after the divorce.
Well, no, I still have a wonderful relationship. We just cannot live under the same roof.
Okay.
and then we go back, and I use the apple, and it's a magnet actually, because again, relationship are magnetizing.
I see.
And I created certain formulas how to really apply instead of trying to change
The formulas for a relationship is communicate, care, listen to your partner,
connect,
focus on their haves and not their lacks.
Don't lecture them.
Be enthusiastic, energetic, exclusivity. What do you mean by that?
By what I mean exclusivity, that's what's called to me intimacy. Not necessarily physical intimacy, but connect with them in an intimate way. Have pillow talk.
But it doesn't have to be just one person or
No, you can have relationships with your neighbor, with your, with a coworker, with your girlfriend.
But when you're with them, be total.
Be connected. Let it be exclusive. Let it be unique.
So, all these books and everything you've experienced, how does this fit into an overall spiritual connection for yourself and what you're helping other people with?
Good question. Now think about this. When you're happy and you feed your happy seed, your spirit is up. You are for real. You're genuine. You're enthusiastic. It's all when your spirit is up. You have the cleanest way of expressing spirituality because you're helping others in the process. You're not just centered about yourself. And it's contagious. Everybody's drawn to you. Everybody wants to tell you they want to tell you their story. And you say, wow, they're crying out. You know what? In a subtle way, I need help. Where can you be there for me?
So because when we are really happy, it just emanates off of us.
Absolutely.
And that's the spiritual practice you're saying.
Exactly.
That's the key? Is that the key to your spiritual?
Absolutely. Because again, if you're happy and you're enthused, you have high spirits.
But is that all you do, or do you have a spiritual practice as well?
Actually, I don't really have a spiritual practice, but I meditate every day. And I connect with certain, when you're of course happy, you appreciate the trees, you appreciate the birds, you look at your plants around you, you appreciate a certain flower, a certain painting, you appreciate the wonderful talents that people have, and you're concentrating more on this wonderful world instead of having all this negativity. And again, you have a wonderful energy. The energy is used in the positive way.
So people come to you and they say, Anna, can you help me in my business, my personal life?
Yes, somebody just recently came to me and he said, I would give away half of my fortune to have half of your energy that is so clean.
You do have a lot of energy.
Spirit.
And she does always smile.
Yes.